And Review Board. This is my first meeting. I'm Mike McCready, the supervisor. I'll turn it over to our clerk, Martin Brook, for attendance.
Oh, actually, see this?
So noted.
So there we go. That's attendance.
That's it?
Isabella goes, so noted. Yeah,
That's it?
that's it.
All right.
So noted.
And now we have public comment. Anybody would like to come forward and make their comment? Now's the time. They come right up to the microphone here. And
Unless they're on the agenda, then you'll have your time during your agenda item.
okay. No comments. So we'll start with the approval of the minutes from November 6th.
So moved?
Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Moving right along. The first item we have is the sign application at 1943 South Telegraph Road, Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. Isabella.
Sure. Yes, so this is a signage request that is seeking some variances. So the Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union is located at 1943 Telegraph Road, north of Square Lake Road, in the village of Bloomfield Shopping Center. It is zoned B3. The applicant is seeking to place a 40-square-foot vinyl wall graphic with film and matte lamination. The proposed space where the graphic would be located is within the drive-through area of the bank, which is facing the southerly side of Telegraph Road. Or actually, apologize. It's behind the bank. And this is on a location that, upon the site plan review and approval back in 2020, was interpreted as a teller window, but is in fact a marketing board. So this board is affixed to the brick there. I would like to note that the vinyl sign includes an image, as you can see at the bottom image there, which says a financial champion. Which is approximately 50% of the sign area. I've noted to the applicant that this would be unusual in the township per our ordinance guidelines, as graphics on the sign need to be 5% or less, as due to the type of material, this would be considered temporary signage. And another element of the ordinance states that temporary signage may not be left up for more than 14 days, whereas this is looking to be up indefinite. Additionally, so there are 3 variances being requested with this application. So the first would be additional signage on the property. This would be the 4th sign on the property, with appearances and approvals dating from 2020 to 2021. The material used with an unspecified request of time that the signage will be up, and the size of the photographic exceeding 5% of the total sign.
All right, thank you.
You said variances. So does this need to go to the ZBA?
It would need to, yes.
Okay, so we're not actually voting on a variance.
Okay, I just figured I'd mention
I'm just that was a question.
Yes.
Yeah, it would have to be moved on to the ZBA
Okay,
for
so we're just
consideration.
voting to send it to the ZBA.
Correct.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
With our recommendation
Or comment, yes.
or comment. So I heard, did you say there's 4?
3.
3, okay, I got all 3.
This would be the 4th sign on the property.
But 3 variances.
Yes. That's probably where it got mixed up.
Any other questions or
Is
comments?
there anyone here from the bank?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Okay, hi. Come on forward.
Hi, my name's Amy Lauder. I'm with Competition Graphics, CG Detroit in Farmington Hills. And basically, yeah, that sign is already up there, the white board and the frame. So this is just a vinyl graphic that would go on that. The client did supply the art to us, and I don't know if it's the photographic image that would change anything. I'd like to be able to at least tell them if there's something, like if they got rid of the photo and it was just their message or anything, if that changes anything from what we're looking at. But
I think the board can advise to that.
So I think our ordinance read, you can have a nameplate on a building or a business that relate to that, to identify that business. So this moves away from that, where this is advertising, and so we don't have, our zoning only allows for 2 weeks temporary signage. So this is something new to us. And,
That's probably why it's new to them too, but that board's been sitting there, I guess, blank since they,
Well, they installed that board,
okay.
yeah, so it doesn't put any, I don't think it adds to our having to make a decision one way or another. But,
Correct.
yeah, but
Okay.
the signage is supposed to be identifying the building or the business.
Okay.
Okay.
What's, Isabella, there looks like there's a sign in the picture with,
It's the ATM here,
Yeah,
right here.
I have some more photos we can look at.
this
Do you see it on this?
is the
I
ATM,
think that's what it is.
the side of the ATM?
Yes.
Oh, wait a second, he's picking up another sign.
There's
here.
another sign there, it looks like there's, you see
There it is, right
Oh.
there. There it is, to the right. Yeah, that's something different.
Yeah, like a standing marketing board.
Okay.
Is that considered a sign, a temporary sign?
That would be, yes,
And that can be there for how long?
2 weeks
Okay,
with approval,
with approval. Permitting approval?
permitting approval, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So they have to apply, identify
correct.
the time and where it will be.
That's correct. And the challenge is when we have these incidental signage is, how frequently they are changed out, their location, how visible, these incidental signs are. Generally speaking, if it's something that's very incidental, it's primarily just looking at more for direction. That's one thing we'll take into account. But if it is more for the marketing of a business, then we need to address it and identify it. So we'll follow up with that signage that you've that you've seen in the image, and we'll make sure that they take action accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like in the next picture, it looks like there's 2 of them.
Okay, so we want to send this to zoning, and we need to send it with a recommendation.
Yes, you can.
And-
The minutes of the meeting will be part of their packet, but if there's any suggestions, comments, or information you want to share for that ZBA appeal, you can certainly do so in your motion or as part of the minutes.
Quick question.
Yeah, Martin?
Any idea what sort of messaging this board is being used for? What,
Just this?
just that?
Just so it's not
Oh.
an ugly white space.
Oh, okay. It's not, okay.
It just sort of makes it
Yeah,
attractive to look at.
Oh, was that a window before? And
No, when the site plans were reviewed and approved,
I seem to
we,
recall seeing it.
yes,
Thought maybe it was a
we
window.
understood this to be a teller window, of
So-
which it never was. It's always been a marketing board with nothing on it.
With nothing on it, and they want to put this on it. What if I take it down, the marketing
That
board?
certainly could happen.
one thing I'll note is this appears to be facing backwards, back to the back. It's in the back of the building.
Yes.
So that's Telegraph over there.
Yep, telegraph is in the
So
front.
if you're on Telegraph, you wouldn't be able to see this
No,
because it's on the back of the building.
exactly.
So, I mean, that for me gives some positive to, or some reason to look at it more favorably because it's not visible from Telegraph. This is just, the only people that would be able to see it are the people that go through the drive-through.
It's a marketing element
Yeah.
for customers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the additional signs. They've already gotten a variance as it is for signage, but it isn't, it's,
What about because they also need a variance for the fact that the graphic, or the picture is more than 5%.
Yes.
I mean, how do we feel about that?
I mean, I'd rather have something nice on the whiteboard than just the ugly whiteboard.
Yeah. And is the
5%
picture,
I have a problem with.
you don't have a yeah, I mean, that doesn't,
I don't want to set a precedent for everybody else, but, this is unique. It's not facing the road. It's just really only customer facing.
If I may add another element as well, our department noted that, with as the ordinance is laid out with the type of material for the sign, it would need to be updated every 2 weeks. This could be seen as an ordinance.
That's not true at all. This is probably set of material.
The type of material, yes, per our ordinance, this is classified as temporary signage. And so per that, it would need to be changed every 2 weeks, which could cause some issues with ordinance.
Oh. Right, and we can't get a variance to the ordinance.
Officers.
Yes.
I mean, we
they-
do a variance to the zoning, but we don't do variances for ordinance, for,
Well, it's a variance to the zoning ordinance.
Okay,
What
zoning
she's
ordinance,
referencing the fact that it then encumbers the township for making sure that it would have to be changed out every 2 weeks. If it's not changed out every 2 weeks, then that's this variance that's
Yeah.
being referred to. So it really is not, falling in line with the types of signage that we have within our current sign ordinance.
yeah. Well, given that, it certainly makes me think we should just ask that they remove the sign. But that's up to ZBA. And then the board ultimately has to come to the board.
No, this is the,
Just ZBA.
this is the only review before it goes to the ZBA.
And the ZBA's final decider.
Correct, correct.
So oftentimes we make a motion to either, sort of approve as presented and refer to the ZBA for final decision, or, suggest it be removed and refer to the ZBA, whatever we suggest, but ultimately it's up to them to decide. But,
And I'm
it
okay
doesn't,
with it.
doesn't make sense to have constant monitoring by staff.
Right. So the 3 variances are number of signs, the temporary signage, and the graphic.
Yes, the temporary signage being the material, yes.
Okay.
But do we still have to go
If they
review
want
it
to
every
change this
every
out,
few
they got to
weeks?
come back to the DRB?
That would be part of the signage, the variance would be the fact that it's not complying with all the terms and conditions of a temporary sign, which is the material and the fact that they want to keep it longer than 2 weeks. So that would be incorporated into their variance request.
And if they want to change this, do they got to come back?
They do,
Correct.
and that is stated when the site plans were approved too for all signage.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Well, it is that it's hidden, but the issue here is they went and put up this whiteboard when there was just brick there, planning to do this, and all of our ordinance would allow this for 2 weeks. So,
You know,
It's
the
like someone-
temporary signage rules are applied pretty consistently everywhere. I mean, that's a concern too.
Do you want to wait until they address these other signs that are there? Because, I mean, those might need variances too.
true.
Technically,
Yeah, we didn't notice that.
can the other signs be addressed at ZBA as well? The additional sort of,
Well, now that you brought that to our attention, we're going to have to contact and find out what their intention, if they want to remove it, or if it's felt to be a permanent sign that they want to then incorporate into an appeal. I think the fact that we haven't presented it tonight or at your meeting today, that we should follow up specifically with the credit union first and see what their intentions are.
perhaps table this now and
That's what I was thinking.
consider it?
Okay, let them come back with
You
the
could.
answers.
You could. And obviously, you've given them some food for thought that they may want to come back with some other, maybe suggestions or comments, too.
Okay, let's do that then.
All right, so I'll make a motion to table this item.
Or,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it's tabled. Next item is 6614 Telegraph Road Health Quest.
Okay, the next item before you today is a sign request for Health Quest. This is located in the Bloomfield Plaza Shopping Center at 6614 Telegraph, south of West Maple and and zoned in the B2 district. HealthQuest is seeking permission to install a wall sign for HealthQuest Physical, stating HealthQuest Physical Therapy. So there are the plans for the sign. The sign states HealthQuest, as you can see, which is 6 square feet up top, and then below that, Physical Therapy, 18 square feet, for a total of 24 square feet. The ordinance allows for 21 square feet, and the sign square feet, as I mentioned, is 24, so it's slightly over. Upon doing a site visit myself, I found the sign designed to be cohesive with other signs in the complex. I'd also like to note that the illuminated channel lettering and raceway are painted to match the building on sign 1 and sign 2 with a backer panel and black raceway.
So does this need a variance?
Yes,
Just the size one?
just the size, only
One
one.
from 21 to 24 inches,
Yep, square feet.
square feet, right? Got it, okay.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Thank you. Are the other signs compliant that are up there as well, like Frames Unlimited? It looks pretty large, too. Do you know if that's a compliant sign or if it's...
That's a great question.
Don't know.
I did not lead that, but I would be happy to look into that for you and find that out.
Although that sign's been there for probably 30 years.
It has. It sure has.
Oh, is it?
That's a really old one. Yeah.
That's a good reason I wouldn't know.
Now, next door, and I'm sorry to bring this up, but I can see in this picture there's next door lighting that's been affixed to the front of this building. And I think is illuminated every evening. And I don't know if that's a sign concern or not. It's not a topic of this agenda, but since it's in the picture.
Yeah, you mean, I'm talking like this Christmas lighting and stuff?
What lighting are you referring
On
to?
this picture here of,
Could you go up to the, could you address, no, could you just go to the,
we are.
Pictures, huh?
yeah,
I just see it all the time though, but
is it?
that one there, you can see the whatever it
It's
is,
like holiday lighting.
holiday lighting lights up the whole front section.
Look over
of
the
that.
I
red
think they
awning.
have that all the time.
They do.
They do.
Oh, I see what you're referring to.
The restaurant, I think they have that year-round.
I believe they do. It's up all the time.
Oh.
Is it not been approved?
That actually has been addressed by our ordinance division. That is
Okay.
that is illumination that hasn't been reviewed or approved. It is not being plugged in. And so we can follow up with the tenant,
Okay.
to have it removed, and/or they'd have to seek approval from the design review board. But again, when we talk about, illumination and signage, we're always looking at a comprehensive approach because it's an entire shopping center. So if there's going to be something that is done that really is intended to be more universal to all tenants, then it really should be brought to the board as an overall design scheme as opposed to an individual illuminated tenant space. So we'll follow up with the tenant.
Thank you.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay, let's go.
I'm going to move that we approve the sign as presented and send it to the ZBA with request for a variance respect to the sign, the size of the sign.
And there's support?
Yes, support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes. Going to the ZBA.
By the way, I really like this section slip pages you've added, which really help to clarify where
Oh,
an
good.
item starts and stops. Thank you.
Isabella's touch.
All right, next on the agenda is site improvements, facade improvement screening, 2500 Maple Road, Superior National Bank, up on Maple and Cranbrook, right?
That is right. Yes, it is located east of South Cranbrook and zoned O1. Sorry. So, what we have before you today is a replacement for a ground-mounted mechanical unit, an outdoor single-zone heat pump in the front yard, located in the front yard with proposed evergreen screening. The unit is, let me grab it, is 2 feet high by 2 feet high by 32 inches wide by 13 inches deep, and placed on a 2-foot-high open leg stand. The unit is to be located in the frontage yard of the building, although immediately adjacent to the building, with setbacks of 66 feet from the front and 46 from the side yard. The applicant has provided plans for ample screening, and in fact, when asked, the applicant was willing to add more screening, so we were very appreciative of that. Another thing I'd like to note is the applicant has reached out to and received unanimous approval from the neighboring Village Homeowners Association. And lastly, the sound of the machine is measured at 56 decibels. The ordinance requires the dBs not to exceed 70, therefore this is compliant.
Sure, the car traffic is noisier than this.
Yes, that's, yeah, we should put that in the ordinance.
Great.
Is there any variance needed for ZBA?
The
because
fact
of
that it's in,
front?
yes. As I mentioned, there is ample screening.
Well, I'm glad that they were very receptive to adding the screening, and I think they've generally been a good addition to the neighborhood there, so I'm prepared to move that we accept as submitted and send this on to the ZBA for a variance related to frontage.
Support?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, that passes. Wonderful. Next item is 3200 West Long Lake Road, Barron Estates. Anybody here from Barron Estates?
All right. So this is a gate installation at Barron Estates, 3200 Barron Drive. So this is located at the entrance to the subdivision at Long Lake Road, and this is zoned R3. So the piers and the sign, let me grab those. This was all part of the approved site plan in 2017. The applicant is asking to install 2 black powder-coated 6-foot tall metal gates that would connect to the already existing pier columns. The gates comply with the ordinance standard of a required 20-foot minimum width. These gates are 22-foot in width each. There is a variance associated here, as the gates are defined as accessory structures in the township ordinance, and these would be technically considered in the front yard, which would not be compliance with the standard set for accessory structures in the ordinance. There will be a standalone gate keypad and gate operator. Landscaping is also proposed, boxwoods to screen the gate operator, and the gate operator is cohesive in its black color.
Did you say that this was in the original site plan?
Yes.
The gates were, excuse me, the piers were, but the gates were not, although it was discussed or presumed that there may be, a future request.
Yeah, I mean, I seem to remember when we approved that there was some contention around the possibility of gating, which is why it wasn't in the original approved site plan. So I'm the only member here that was on the board at the time.
Yeah.
So I remember that
Yes.
conversation. So I just want to state that. I'm not stating an opinion.
No, thank you for doing that.
I remember that there was some consternation at the board about it, and that, maybe Patty or Isabella, you can give us some color on how we treat entry gates like this on major thoroughfares. Has there been?
Well, because
There's not many of them around.
Well, and they have to go to the zoning board of appeals. And so
Right.
that determination of it being in the context of the subdivision, the surrounding property, how far it is set back from the road, its visibility, the size of the lots that are adjacent to the property, illumination, obviously, sometimes will bear referencing. And so the ZBA does take each of these requests on a case-by-case basis. And obviously, with the course of a meeting and the public notice, there would be an opportunity for adjoining residents to be able to make comment regarding their opinion of the gates. And generally, the gates can be have been approved by the ZBA But again, it's always in the context of its location and any concerns with visibility from, the neighbors. The fact that they have it set back in such a way to allow for some stacking also is something that the board will take into account, so that should there be a couple cars that are lining up for that keypad, that there's not any opportunity to impact traffic on Long Lake Road. So all of that would be taken into account as part of that ZBA appeal.
Okay. But are there other gated communities like this off of major?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
There are, Turtle Lake farther to Squirrel Lake to the west.
The Turtle Lake, that's entrances off of Club Drive.
Club Drive, that's correct. But it just, they have, just in my recollection, they have approved gates of various sizes from 4 feet to 6 feet. Again, it's always site-specific, depending on, the circumstances, the character, and the inherent qualities of the property. And so in this instance, the board will take that all into account. The fact that it is not necessarily at 6 feet at the center of the gate. It looks like that it's probably less than the 6 foot height.
The gates were actually proposed to be
You wanna-
9'6".
Come up there, we can,
Oh,
Much taller, I think, on those plans.
oh.
It was part of the variance, I think, that we were gonna do, but it would
The gate's going
fill.
to be higher than what's noted?
Yeah, I think on the plans it should say,
9?
see what I got. Yeah. So it's hard to read that, I got a bigger copy, but.
Yeah, it's hard to read those numbers is right.
I don't
the
see a height
application?
number.
Does the
Oh, I do
application
at the
say
bottom,
size?
9
Yeah.
feet, 10 inches.
The application form itself.
Yeah, and I mean, it's close, it's gonna be close to that. It's gonna fill that space with those pillars, because those pillars are, they're 9, 10 feet tall.
You were thinking that this is the space,
I'm thinking
too.
that's the width. The 9 feet is the width.
I don't see anywhere else where it's
Yeah, I don't see a height.
like one of those diagrams, that go up and down.
Yeah.
I mean,
The width is like 22 feet or something like that, I believe. I have some full-size plans that
You're
might
right,
be.
that's it, right there,
easier to read.
9.4.
I don't have my glasses on, so I can't.
9.4 is what I'm reading.
Andrea,
I
can you
got some
assist
readers
in
here.
blowing
You
up
want
that
to- you wanna
image
try 'em?
with the PowerPoint?
Try 'em. Your distance and bottom is the readers.
So is what we're looking at going to be what's installed, or is that?
Yeah, that's really close to what, yeah, because I have it listed at like 9'6" from the high side of the gate to grade. And then in the middle, it's going to go down roughly 15 to 18 inches is what our
Right,
bend's
so
going to
the,
be.
so the top,
He strikes.
oh, here it is. I missed it. It's on the left side. 9 foot 6 inches.
Right.
Seems to me
9.5
that those
feet.
piers were very
Yeah,
high. when
I had a
they
different
were-
impression that these were going to be 6 feet high, or 6.5 feet high.
No.
Yeah, it'll be more like 9'6" to fill the space of the.
What is the height in the center of the gate then?
So the curve, we're going for about a 15-inch drop, so 15 inches shorter.
You're gonna manufacture these
that would be-
specially just for this project? Is that? you
Yeah,
have to
we'll,
fabricate this?
we'll be building them in-house, but there's a company that bends these big 2x6s.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
have a bender that big, but.
Pretty cool.
So that
But
would
yeah,
be-
they will bend it to spec, and then
That'd
we
be
go
8
from
feet
there.
at the center and 9.5 as it attaches to the pier.
Right, yeah.
Okay, we can see, I mean, the conceptual drawing or picture here shows
You
that
really can see the height there.
you can really see the height there.
If you go back,
And it's
Isabel, on your
see-through- it's
screen,
see-through.
That shows
Yeah,
the
yep. Like they're pickets, I think that
drawing
we
of
have
the
renderings to help show.
to the car coming in.
I
kinda get a
like that
better
they chose a
perspective
Porsche.
now.
I like that they chose a Porsche for the picture.
Right?
That's the
Supervisor
car of
McCready,
choice
going.
for the
Keep
neighborhood.
going.
This one with the,
Oh,
with the black car in front of it. There you
There.
go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That kind of gets the height. It's tall.
Yeah.
That was much taller than I was led to believe the gates, but
Yeah, they're gonna be big, they're big gates for sure.
Any other questions?
Is anybody here from the neighborhood?
No. No, I'm sure the HOA president, if we have another meeting or something, I'm sure they would be willing to come though.
I mean, I don't see how you could do smaller gates. I think that would look silly.
I agree with that.
In the
Accessory
front
structure in the
yard.
front yard.
Which is similar to other gates that other communities have. It's the same variance.
Yes.
We're not blazing new trail, you know.
No, this is not a new element, yeah,
Okay.
this is,
So I'll make a motion that we approve as submitted, send it on to the ZBA for consideration of the variances, and make the approval subject to the requirements of the departments, specifically the fire department.
Support?
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. All right, next on the, we have just general business, recent design review board approvals. And no?
none?
None? And our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, December the 18th. We'll see you then. Adjourned.
I'm getting used to that.